Greetings, my friends. Thank you for watching this video, and if you would be so kind, please subscribe if you like what you see. Help our channel to keep growing and keep fighting the war to save pop culture. Together, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. Enjoy, and thanks. My friends, I want you to strap yourself securely to the couch, take a stiff drink if you imbibe strong liquors, pray to your higher power for serenity, and possibly put on a helmet to keep your head from exploding, because what I'm about to tell you is one of the most outrageous things that I have ever heard. Last week, I released a video about what Kathleen Kennedy is doing with Indiana Jones 5, but as bad as that was, you ain't heard nothing yet. This is a story I've been covering for months now. Over 2 months ago, I released a video detailing a script leak suggesting that Harrison Ford was going to be replaced by Phoebe Waller-Bridge as the franchise lead at the end of Indiana Jones 5. 2 months after I broke that rumor, the mainstream media confirmed it in multiple outlets with their own sources, not referencing my report. Ford is out at the end, they said. Waller-Bridge is in. At that point, from yet another source, this one highly trusted, I got an updated draft of the script that was even worse than the earlier one I reported, and I made a video about that draft. Funny thing is, literally 40 minutes after I released that video, I received a message from someone claiming to have knowledge of the situation on the set of Indy 5, and what this person had to tell me floored me. I am used to getting lots of bad news, people. These days, I expect it. But even I could not believe what I was being told. This is literally the worst possible news a fan of Indiana Jones could hear.
Worse than Indy dying?
Yeah, much worse.
Worse than Indy getting a sex change, changing his name to Cindy, spelled with an I, and using a feather boa instead of a whip?
Yeah, Harvey, even worse than that. It doesn't get any worse than this. Even thinking about it now, I have a knot in my stomach, so get ready, folks. You will absolutely want to watch this video to the end because it's not only containing the information I was leaked, but my analysis of that information. And in that analysis, I think you will find, perhaps, the truth. Just when you thought Hollywood and Kathleen Kennedy couldn't sink any lower, your expectations get subverted once again.
You're scaring me, dude.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Before I proceed, let me give you the one spot of good news here. Bear in mind, this is an unverified source, what I call a walk-in. Lots of times, walk-ins are people who have been so upset by what they know, they feel compelled to reach out and warn the public. But walk-ins can also be pranksters and Hollywood double agents leaking fake news, so is definitely a chance that this source is full of it. But given Kennedy's history and the sheer amount of outrage radiating from the set of Indiana Jones 5, what this source says is all too plausible. But that said, what I'm about to tell you is information that I cannot independently verify from a walk-in source, so I'm presenting it as unverified rumor and asking you to please take it with several grains of salt. That said, it's important to bring you up to date on the alleged plot points from the Indy 5 script that I reported earlier. The following information came from a trusted source, not this walk-in. But to fully appreciate just how bad this walk-in's allegations are, you need to have the basic plotline firmly in your mind, so here's a clip that summarizes the script details from my last video. Indy grabs the dead man's wallet, then together Indy and Phoebe pursue the rest of the thieves, hoping to retrieve this artifact. They follow the thieves to Stonehenge, where they witness the men perform a ritual that opens a portal. The men disappear into the portal, and the last one who goes into the portal turns around, revealing his face, and at this point the source speculates that this is the character played by Antonio Banderas. The man slips into the portal, and is it Indiana Jones that bravely pursues him? No, it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge who jumps into the portal without hesitation, and in the words of my source, Indiana reluctantly follows her. So on the other side of the portal, turns out they've gone back in time to World War II, just as in the previous draft. And we have seen behind-the-scene pictures of World War II tanks and so on, so that tends to lend credence to this reportage from my source. So they are captured and placed in a deadly trap, of course, and just as they're about to be killed, they're saved by young Indiana Jones. That's right. In this other draft, the source claims they've kept this section of the story where old Indy meets deep-fake young Indy. So what else are they going to do but team them up to defeat these time-traveling enemies? At this point, my source skips ahead to the ending, which is just awful. So our Indy, the old Indy, is wounded. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is tending to his wounds. Meanwhile, Antonio Banderas and young Indy are fighting. Antonio Banderas puts some kind of device on young Indy, who promptly vanishes. Just as young Indy disappears, a whip wraps around Antonio Banderas and Indy yanks on it, sending Banderas over the edge of a cliff or chasm, and he falls to his death. At this point, old Indy makes everyone in the theater retch. Old Indy places his hat on Phoebe Waller-Bridge's head, and he says, "It's up to you now. You have to find him." And he dies. The end credits is, according to this source, Phoebe Waller-Bridge capering around as they play the Raiders of the Lost Ark theme, to be continued on Disney+.
Holy shit, Doomcock. Sorry, man, but I just don't see how it could be worse than that.
Oh, I'm about to make you a believer, Harvey. Right about 40 minutes after I released that video, out of the blue I got a message about my video telling me what I got right and what I got wrong. Here's what this source said verbatim. I am quoting it directly. Quote, "Hi, Doomcock. I can confirm from a friend who is working on Indy 5, the script leak is correct. But the main thing is that they are deleting the male Indy from history. And Phoebe not only takes his hat, but his name. My friend has been so angry, but has to continue. My friend says so many insiders are so upset and angry at this also. At the moment, what you reported is correct. If I hear anything different, I will let you know." Unquote.
Fuck. No way. No fucking way.
That was my reaction, Harvey. To say I was stunned is an understatement. I don't think I've ever heard a worse allegation. Of course, I wrote back to this source mainly just expressing that my brain is blown on this thing and asking the source if this could possibly be true. The source very quickly wrote back and elaborated, quote, "Yes, totally, because the young Indy dies, old Indy never happened. We're in the UK. The amount of work here is crazy at the moment. I have asked if anything has changed, but my friend told me this last week. I'll keep you updated." Unquote. See, here's the deal. When I reported that Banderas touches young Indy with a device and young Indy vanishes, I and my source had assumed in the script draft leaked to us that Indy had been sent to a different time, that this device had teleported him somewhere else, and that when old Indy dies and gives his hat to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, saying it's up to her now, that she would be traveling through time to rescue and retrieve young Indy. But if this source is correct, and that's a big if, the device Banderas uses actually disintegrates young Indy, which means that all of his adventures moving forward, including Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, all of them, never even happened.
Holy shit! This can't be, Doomcock!
The mind, the conscience, rebels at the very thought of such a monstrosity. And yet this makes sense given who we're talking about. Kathleen Kennedy. We're talking about Kathleen Kennedy, people. Given what we know about her, about how vengeful she can be, wouldn't this be the perfect revenge on the fans who so roundly rejected her? Revenge for what Favreau and Filoni are planning for her Disney sequel trilogy? Consider replacing traditional male heroes with intersectional feminist replacements is exactly what Kathleen Kennedy has done in the past. After all, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, Luke is effectively replaced by Rey. Rey takes his land, takes his lightsaber, takes his sunset, and takes his name. Now Kennedy is allegedly pulling this trick again, only this time it's one better. She's deleting Indiana Jones from history. He will not exist. He is wiped out from history, and so Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade are all erased from canon, along with Indy.
Just exactly like Filoni is planning to erase the Disney sequel trilogy from history.
Exactamundo, Harvey. And when you put the pieces together and look at it like that, it's not only possible that this leak is true, it's plausible. Kennedy, on her way out the door, is determined to do as much harm as possible if this rumor is true, and regardless of whether or not her contract gets renewed for another year to keep her happy while she's unmaking Indy 5, rest assured her reign at Lucasfilm is over in terms of power and influence. Even those who believe her contract is about to be renewed acknowledge that much. And so she is going out swinging. She is going out to burn down the house as she exits.
What can we do to stop this?
The only thing we can do is spread the word. Spread this video. Get outraged. If this rumor is not true, all well and good, no harm, no foul. But if this rumor is true, then we need to let Lucasfilm know loudly and angrily that this shit will not stand, that they're about to drive a stake through the heart of yet another franchise and alienate yet another segment of the fan base. Better to just kill Indy 5 right in the crib, right now, or force them to do a rewrite of the final scenes to make sure this doesn't happen. That much is not too late, but the time to act is now. Spread this video around, raise hell, and maybe, just maybe, we can snuff this hell flame a-burning. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.